Sorry, I meant experience. Ex-professional footballer, was it the Kings or the Lions or both? There were so many changes over that time. Kings, all white. Did you age group? 20s? With Ricky?
Blonde hair,
now working sort of part-time roles for quite a few people at the minute. New Zealand football, Oceania football. Starting to clock up his air miles almost as much as I have in the last few weeks and months. Came in at sort of short notice to present because we felt that it was really a missing component on our A licence course from an understanding point of view. So we see an A licence coach having been not so much a jack of all trades, but almost having a good knowledge across every domain that you're sort of in charge of. And I think the art of goalkeeping, because now we've got goalkeeper coaches, players are quite happy to go, yeah, you look after that because I don't know anything about it. But you do need to know something about it. So Marshy, welcome, thanks for coming in. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this because I haven't done a goalkeeper thing for a while, so I'm not down in goal by the way. But, yeah. Welcome.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate the intro. Morning, the team. How we doing? Good. Yeah, of course you got it. It's day 2. You still like each other, right? That's hope that continues through till day 5, 6, and 7. Who coached yesterday? Yeah, that's all the relaxed cats kicking back. Don't have to coach today. Who's coaching today? Yeah, me too. Good luck. Alright, so just looking at some goalkeeping. Only got 60 slides to go through and then we'll be on the grass for 10 minutes. No, we're just a little bit here, 20 minutes, and then we're going to get outside and do a goalkeeper practical. So hopefully you're keen to get involved. Need a couple of goalkeepers and some outfielders. Cool, see some nods. It's good. That's AP and Luke and Callum celebrating after we got a clean sheet against Canada, third game of the Under-17 World Cup. 1-0 win, so you want to celebrate your victories. It's all about me, managed to attract a woman, and some kids. There's not problem this. I'm a secondary school teacher, that's why I always look so tired. I'm 3 days a week at school, and I quite like lawn mowing. Most of my work's with people, so I think, to be honest, you don't always see your progress every day with people. Sometimes you're going backwards in my case, but the lawns always look cut after I mow them, so that's a bit about me. Alright, I do have a plan for this module, despite the short notice. That's all good. Appreciate the invitation. So, just a little bit on goalkeeper coaching, which I'm sure you know a lot about. Challenges of working with goalkeeper coaches and goalkeepers, and we'll just get out on the grass. So just lean into your neighbour and say, I'm looking forward to getting on the grass today. There you go. Right, so not much leaning in, try and understand when you Alright, just put your hand up if you know what happens next. Just gauging my audience, some of us might be younger than me. I'm just looking at Skullsy, same age group as me, growing up, and we both got grey hair and glasses turning up. So,
the whole of Scotland erupts in joy.
yeah, so Robert Green, this is a hint of the script saying what happened next was went through his legs. Goalkeeping's a bit tricky sometimes, you know. You need to keep the ball out of the net, and sometimes you don't. Goalkeepers can be a little bit challenging to manage. We're a different breed. Leap had more claim that it's not a proper position. But we are a bit different. It's like a sport within a sport. And you need a goalkeeper to be successful. Pretty hard to win the league when your keeper's making errors. So,
what is it about the goalkeeping position? Sorry,
a question.
Because
that, young man.
That is a true reflection. Like What do you think it is about the position of the goalkeeper that makes them, as a personality, generally different? Or
Just showing the video going while we're talking. This is just a bit of whet your appetite for goalkeeping areas.
oh shit.
I don't have a good answer for that other than my own origin story, which I'll keep brief. I grew up in Invercargill, and despite that I wanted to play football and be a goalkeeper, so I'm one of the few people in Invercargill that decided to do that. But I just went to school, St Teresa's Primary School, and we played football at lunchtime, picked teams, and I just was in goal and enjoyed stopping the ball. I don't know why. I have no idea. It's just what I did. I enjoyed it. I was sometimes the first pick. Yes. And then I went to a club. So I just had something in me that wanted to get in the way of that ball, and when I did it, you know, the parents clapped on the sideline, and I felt good. So yeah, I don't have a good answer for that other than me. So yeah, keepers, we make errors, and it's tricky. So I'll just tell you a little bit about what we're doing in terms of NZF. So what are we doing with our goalkeeper coaches to support them, support our goalkeepers, given goalkeeping's a bit tricky? So we've got community qualifications at the moment on NZF Learn. So there's Youth 1 and 2, Junior 1 and 2, and they are online learning modules for coaches, football coaches. And within that we've got a goalkeeper Junior 1, a goalkeeper Junior 2, a Youth 1 and Youth 2 goalkeeping module. So there is online community content as part of those courses. We have developed a GKC in 2020. That was mainly James Benatine's work, and we've been delivering 1 to 3 per year around the country. Next month, March, we're in the Mount. There's still registrations open if you know anyone. And Wellington, we're in April. So again, registrations online if you can show a tap someone for me. We have about 60 odd goalkeeper C licensed coaches in New Zealand at the moment, and our pass rate is incredibly high. What do we coach goalkeeper C coaches? Just put your hand up if you've got a goalkeeper C coach you're working with. All right, about a third of the room. So in theory, to coach National League, OFC Pro League, you need a GKC. So we essentially focus on, you know, planning, delivering, and reflecting on the session, practical session. There's a bit of match analysis, but we focus on that coaching process, and we're looking at coach working with goalkeepers and trying to bring to life match realism so they can support player learning. Okay. Now GKC, you don't need to use outfielders to get the license, but we are modelling on the GKC the idea of using outfielders in your sessions for match realism. So it's a skill practice, goalkeepers make a decision, painting those pictures that you see in the game, and I'm noticing a real improvement over the last few years in the GKC final assessments. Coaches are now submitting with outfielders in their session and starting to work with outfielders and build that match realism. So I'm really excited about that. When I sort of took over maybe 3-4 years ago, every single final assessment was a coach and a keeper, or a coach and 2 keepers. The last GKC I marked was a really strong pass that had 9 outfielders in the last part of the session. So I'm really excited about that. That's one of me. Okay, goalkeeper B. We've done 2 cohorts of this, so we developed that in 2024. And again, we focus on a whole range of things, a lot more on the C, but the guts of it is still the coaching process, and a GKB licensed coach needs to be able to work with minimum 5 outfielders, and we want to see them with those outfielders in a match realistic practice, able to jump in with coaching interventions following a street process. So we are really doubling down on the coaching process in the GKB, but we are also doubling down on the idea that the goalkeeper coach may work with outfielders and they paint those pictures, and we're sort of in the B introducing the idea of you're an assistant coach. Sound good? This is what I've been working on for years. GKA, planning to deliver that January and December 2027. just looking at Aaron, he's paying no attention to me whatsoever. So that's the plan, and that license we're developing it now, but essentially we're looking at the goalkeeper as an assistant coach, just like we touched on with Logan's excellent presentation and the idea of all these coaches helping. So that's pretty exciting. GKB, we've got 13 people hold that license currently. Out of 2 cohorts. So that's what we're doing with our keepers in New Zealand. Any thoughts or comments or questions just on that before I... So if you're working with a C coach or a B coach, in theory, they should be able to do those things that I just told you about. You can expect that from them. Cool. Just trying to remember what I put the slide in. Sorry, my personal life in the kaggle, it's just really tricky sometimes, there's a blur. We have pet sheep. Started off with barley and then introduced you to a ram. I won't give you a biology lesson. Jack and Jill turned up, and then Bella did one, so Lamel was our 4th. They're not normally in the front garden, they're normally in our paddocks. They're taking extreme liberties. This probably happened when I was on a work trip. Anyway, why am I showing you this? My wife is like a horse whisperer, animal whisperer. So when you're feeding the horses at night, which is our romantic time, the sheep come up to her, and she's got different scratches for different sheep. Everyone's thinking, oh, it's got weird. So some sheep like, the back scratch, the neck scratch, whatever. So my wife is really good at showing animals love, just for a few minutes in passing. So when Nita walks in, all sheep just turn up. So look, what can you do as head coaches working with goalkeepers to support goalkeepers? This is my clumsy analogy. Essentially, when I was in goal back in the day, we were very much sort of maybe in the corner of the paddock, doing our own thing. But that has changed a lot, and we've got almost a full pathway. Goalkeeping coaching standards improving, the integration of outfielders improving, the integration with goalkeeper coach and head coach and assistant coach. I think that's all improving. But what can you do? You're obviously not here to learn about goalkeeping, but you do have a goalkeeper in your team or a goalkeeper coach. So I guess my one golden bullet advice is just any piece of love you can give your goalkeeper coach or your goalkeeper will go a long way. I mean, growing up in my playing career, I had lots of coaches, and just because of the age and stage I was at, it was often a British accent yelling at me from a long way away. But I can still remember key moments where coaches showed me just a little bit of love. So I'll just give you some quick examples. Ken Creswell's local legend in Cargill a few times, the All Whites World Cup, amazing. So he was Southern development manager with a full-on role, and he coached Southern United. I was a teenager, I was his keeper, and he just spent the odd training session. At the end of it, he gets some outfielders and actually coached me. And he was a busy, tired guy, player coach, but he just showed me a bit of love. I can remember some of the sessions, so I'm not saying you have to now be a goalkeeper coach and do that, but it's just an example of a coach just showing their goalkeeper a little bit of love. I eventually got on the Olympic team. We had some scary games come up with South Africa, home and away, and he was at North Harbour. Ricky, I remember talking before the game, and I said, I'm pretty nervous. And he just looked at me and said, you'll do well. And I literally thought, Kenny believes in me, and I had a reasonable game. So that's one moment with Kenny. Another one, Shane Ruffer, the Kings, he took me aside and just was talking to me about, game management, which I didn't really understand then. I thought everything was a counter-attack immediately. So he just took me aside and had a nice calm conversation about what are you thinking about when you have the ball, and I didn't really have good thoughts around that at the time, and he just showed me a little bit of love. Ricky was it's always nervous now, you think what am I going to say? So anyway, Ricky dropped me out of the Olympic team actually just before the qualifiers, and we're in a hotel room, probably that one out by the airport we stayed in, but the empathy with which Ricky talked to me about this was, he said, I still see you as our number one. I want you to go away and work hard and get to a high level and prove that. So we got through the qualifiers, and I eventually played in the playoffs against South Africa. So I guess what I'm saying is just like our sheep, any moment of love, whether it's that quick conversation afterwards, or a carefully managed selection conversation, or a coaching intervention in the game about maybe where the goalkeeper's standing or how they're going to play out, all those little bits of love, little sheep scratch, that can go a long way. So anyway, let's get to something, so let's just do a little continuum. So in a minute I'm going to ask you to which means stand up, and we're just going to stand from here to here. So it's a continuum. This end, doorway end, is you feel very confident in your ability to work with your goalkeeper and your goalkeeper coach. So this is the comfortable, competent head coaches. I can work with my keeper and keeper coach. So it doesn't mean just on the grass, it means meetings, it means selection conversations, it means telling them about playing style, team model, vision, philosophy, all that sort of stuff. Down yonder, and this is the honesty side of things, is like, well, I actually don't really know what to do with my goalkeeper, or not very comfortable talking to them, or I don't really know how to work with my goalkeeper coach. So I should have said before this is a no judgment zone, friend. This is just a self-selection continuum. So just remind me, what's this end, team?
Confident.
Confident working with keepers and keeper coaches, and this end, less confident. Right, you two, let's go.
All trying to hide in the middle there, Marty. That door, get in the
Can we
kitchen.
spread so there's a line? Is that too much trouble? Just nice and quick, team. So spread the continuum longer. Okay, right. Thanks for your honesty. Very quickly, we're just going to number off. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Just say it out loud. Points for funny accent. 3, 4, 5. Book it.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
13, 15, 16, 17,
20,
21. Disappointing, no funny accents. Never mind. If you're 1 to 5, grab a pen of paper. 6 to 10, and then so on. So we're in groups. I just want you to write down your group really quickly. Don't want to spend a long time on this. It's just what are the challenges you're facing. So it's challenges working with my goalkeeper, challenges working with my goalkeeper coach if you have one. Can someone just repeat back to me the 2 questions you're answering? Challenges of working with
goalkeeper, and a goalkeeper.
Okay, you got 3 minutes, so really tight time frame, team. Go squad team, go. There's some on the markers on the table. Yeah, sorry, there's one there, I think. Yeah, there's
So what's the challenge? It's a challenge.
Good. So just thinking next, and not for a long time, because we want to get on the grass, because classrooms, start to come here and listen to me with my slides. So let's just start with working with the goalkeeper, because obviously all of you will have a goalkeeper and goalkeepers in your team. Might just get one group, Skulls' group, just to jump up and just really quickly just tell us the challenges of working with goalkeepers. If it's just 3, 4, 5, or just one of you.
Yeah, so we spoke sort of
based on if you have one goalkeeping set or two for one team. And the issue with that is sometimes it's difficult if you know you've just got a number one and that player knows sort of, that they're starting every week because there's no one pushing or challenging them. So there's a potential complacency that can come into their mindset. The flip side of that was if there is a clear number one, number two, is how you manage that relationship with the second goalkeeper. You're not getting any games time, so to know is that absolutely won't change that season. And then we went into senior goalkeepers in the country because there's not loads of them. A lot of them are fast tracked up, but maybe haven't had the basic trainings, so they're actually struggling with the foundations of the goalkeeping structures and techniques. However, to then teach it to them as an adult can be a bit more challenging mindset because they almost feel that you're speaking down to them at times because they haven't had that coaching. And then we spoke a little bit about the balance of understanding how much they'll get out of the session if they're included within the full practice, or if they're actually better to have specialised training with an individual coach based on their needs and also what they enjoy, because you've got that enjoyment factor at the sessions.
Nice. Thank you. All good challenging stuff. Is there another group that wants to jump up and do theirs but not repeat anything? Oh, that group, you made eye contact.
So, not really challenges, more observations. Obviously, getting them working with their feet a bit more. Do you involve them in the likes of rondos and whatnot, as opposed to them just being shuffled over in the corner, catching shit? Keeping them really engaged during activities. Like if we're doing 11v11 shape, might not necessarily be really engaging for a goalkeeper. It will if they're involved in that, but trying to keep them engaged and paying attention is a challenge. And I think we just touched on, there was one here about special treatment. Goalkeepers get special treatment. Where did that come from? Is that?
Yeah, so similar, I guess, to sort of what I kind of said about, like, if I think one of the team, they can kind of, yeah, they turn up a bit late, you're not willing to drop them because it's your only one, that kind of stuff, so it's sort of be a bit thinking of, kind of building these things so they can.
Yeah.
We kind of spoke about like sort of coming off that special treatment. Like, I find that a lot easier to justify or make a decision around perhaps removing a starting outfielder because of poor performance compared to if a goalkeeper makes an error during a game or maybe isn't performing, I worry that if I pull them out or replace them, that kills them. So it's not necessarily I don't know if anybody else finds that. I kind of feel like that's where there's a little bit of special treatment. Like, because it's such a different position, an important position, and a confidence position.
Yeah. I mean, it's know your players sort of stuff, isn't it? Knowing your players' temperament and how they can handle being dropped or not, whether they're confident or not. I mean, every goalkeeper is quite different, so there's no golden rule really. I mean, I think the times I was dropped, I had a reaction to go away and work harder and get better, and I would make that leap. But then, of course, not every goalkeeper is like that. You know, you might have Luca Taylor, second choice for the 17s, who's got natural ability but doesn't really want to work hard and push AP. So, yeah, these are all hard things. Any other group want to?
Yesterday we spoke about the future player a little bit.
Yeah.
And do you think, looking forward, coaches would start to change goalkeepers in the game a little bit? Because Arteta said a few years ago that when Ray came in, he sort of said, I've looked at the last few years and in games I wish I could keep that could do something different based on the game state. So it might be dealing crosses, for example, so they go more direct. But then he never actually did it. But everyone thought, maybe he's put someone on for the last 15 minutes because they're better at that. Do you think the game could go that way, or do you think it's always put by a mental position that it will mainly be between games that change?
What's your name?
Thanks.
Overlapping goalkeeper.
That's a risk. There you go.
It's a good question, Tate. I mean, we've seen it with penalty shootouts, haven't we? Changing people. I mean, in our context, New Zealand, with maybe not always having the resources and the depth of overseas, I mean, if you think of an national team, you might not even want your third choice goalkeeper to get on the pitch because they're not at the level. I don't know if I'm very qualified to talk about the very, very top level. Well, I think the game is changing, and the goalkeeper is an outfielder with gloves. Very much now. We're almost seeing a shift where we've got goalkeepers playing that are immaculate with their feet, that's what I mean, and do a little bit of goalkeeping on the side, almost. So that shift is almost happening now, isn't it? Where they're being selected because they can keep possession, short distances, medium, long, play out through the press, and they might make a couple of saves. So I think that's, in our space, goalkeeper space, that's the trend we're looking for. And our response to that in the advanced licensed goalkeeper side is we talk about attacking game a lot and the idea of the goalkeeper attacking game when in position and how that is incorporated in the way they play out, whether it's with their feet or hands, because obviously we're trying to keep the ball now, not just launch it up there like they used to do. So I don't know in direct responses if the answer to your question, but there's an interesting trend that you've identified today. I don't. Yes.
Would that change the way the curriculum looks in like the younger age groups? Because if it's about like being able to plan the pressure and have skills out in this camp, then would you want younger goalkeepers with the lack of young system to specialise later, or must have like a split like foundation from like 5 to like 12 and then have a little bit more like specialised to do that? Because if they just have like goalkeeper coaching and isolation, then there's obviously like a massive technical foundation that's needed, but then maybe the realism of like game situations and decision making, and maybe execution would be less in order to now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we want goalkeepers to specialise sort of 3 years and older, but you're still going to be able to use your feet, right? So the more we incorporate them into our sessions as a team, as an outfield coach, with your goalkeeper in the rondos or in the build-up, and not just away with their goalkeeper coach, the more they're going to be able to be confident with their feet. I mean, the profile of a national age group goalkeeper now, or an international one, you know, think of Logan, what Logan's looking for, Hayes and the All Whites is pretty different from a generation ago. I mean, I grew up picking up pass games. So in my lifetime, when I finished, I could clip a ball to the fullback with my weak foot, but I wouldn't get into a national team now, not even a chance. So building those outfield skills, you know, are really important. I mean, I think just with our context, we're always, at the high level, we're always working with the personnel we've got. So when you're working national age group level, you're sort of scouting and trying to find the goalkeepers that are going to be good enough to play at the World Cup, and often that pool is really, really small. So, yeah, Ricky, you had your hand up.
Sorry, just saying, Chris, is it just an open question to you? Do you think you would have been good enough if you grew up in the era like goalkeepers have now? Because I think you would have been. Not because you're in the representative, but I think you would have been. So the rule changes, the period that you grew up in football. I just say, Andy, I think some of the goalkeepers that I played with, certainly in the World Cup '82, were unbelievably good with their feet. Like they'd play in some of the sessions, but there was just zero requirement for them to do it. I could pass it back to the goalkeeper, he'd pick it up. I'd move 2 meters, he'd be good at knocking it back to me. So it's sad, I guess, at times that we grew up in that era. But
yeah, I've never thought about that actually. Yeah, I mean, I did adapt later, but yeah, I mean, I guess just keep the ball out. But I mean, dealing with AP coming through, he was just absolutely phenomenal and almost the leader in what we're seeing. But you know, there's line up the Phoenix and Kelly Hill there, pretty good with their feet too. So there's a whole generation of ball players, outfielders with gloves coming through. I'm just aware of time and wanting to get on the grass, so let's just maybe get one group to jump up, make eye contact, and talk about challenges with working with a goalkeeper coach.
Same was already in my group.
Okay, you're off the hook. Yeah, we can do it. Would one of the ladies like to present?
Maybe next time.
So probably pretty similar to quite a few, but the linking of session objectives with the goalkeeper coach and making sure that their work when they go off on their own is what does link to what they're going to be coming into. We found quite a reluctance to incorporate outfield players, maybe some of the old school mindset with some of the goalkeeper coaches that we work with. One of the biggest ones, especially across club environments, just time constraints. Sometimes clubs only have a goalkeeper coach one session a week, so if they're in maybe 2 to 3 times a week, what does that look like for those other sessions where you don't actually have somebody looking after your goalkeepers? We put a lack of understanding from both sides, maybe us as on-field coaches not necessarily understanding what's being asked of a goalkeeper, and especially some of the technicalities. I know that's like by far one of my biggest weaknesses is understanding when or what a goalkeeper should be doing at a specific time. And then similarly, the other way around, goalkeeper coaches maybe not understanding the depth of the game model or what you're asking in those moments. We put different perspectives, and really when they go off on their own, just kind of a trust that needs to be had that the goalkeeper coach is going to be communicating and messaging some of the same ideas to that goalkeeper, so there has to be a high level of trust there. This was an interesting one, the emotional attachment that goalkeeper coaches sometimes have to their goalkeepers. The DK Union, from an academy background where they work with 2 or 3, they tend to have a very high level of attachment to them and maybe don't want to drop goalkeepers or tend to defend them after certain errors over and over again. And at the same time, from our side, we would understand that too, because I think every coach has players that they maybe have a special, attachment or relationship to. So it makes sense, but it also can get in the way. And then the final one, we put pitch space, where, if you're under resource constrained environment, how do you work? Maybe you don't have a goal that can move, but the on-field session needs it as well. So just managing those different pitch requirements, working with that session.
That's great detail there. I love that. I mean, just so you know, in the advanced GK space, we are coaching our goalkeeper coaches coming through to work with the head coach and to, sit within the philosophy and the playing style and the team model and not go into the corner.
Yeah.
So,
and we need to get better at it too.
Yeah, I guess from your side, this room is communicating what you want clearly, and then the goalkeepers coach's responsibility is to bring that to life in their sessions. So just to give you an example, a big licensed goalkeeper coach, when they do a match analysis, they're expected to understand team shape, attacking, defending, and what the opposition's doing, key threats, and then that theme should thread through their practical. So I mean, checklist shape is often a big icon for our B licensed coaches because they're trying to bring that match realism to life, which of course directly relates to playing style and back 4, back 3, having number 6s, all that stuff. You should be able to see that in the goalkeeper session coming to life, which then of course feeds into when the goalkeeper turns up in your session. So anyway, that's what we're working on. No promises. Look, I think we need to just almost stop here, and I'll just tell you what's happening next. We are going to go to the pitch, which I haven't seen yet. I'm assuming there's a pitch yonder. I've been told there's a football pitch somewhere. I'm interested in where the 4 youngest people in the room are. So, is there anyone under the age of 20 here? Okay, any under 25s? Nice try. Under 30s? Ooh, so under 30s, just stand up.
Good.
You're in every session.
Right, I'm just going to do a thing because I was.
There's no way you can do it.
Who are the 4 shortest? The 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, do you 4 mind just taking an item of gear that I left when we head out? Give them a round of applause.
The 4 most vertically challenged
So,
in the group.
in a minute we'll go out. What I need is, I think the easiest way to do it is if you're able-bodied, bring your boots, and I will need 2 goalkeepers. I've got 1 pair of gloves. Someone can use mine. The person will just have to go old school. here's my session plan. It's pretty basic. I have done this session before, but of course I know as soon as I get out on the grass, because I don't know who I'm working with, my plan is going to change. Might be some things to coach, given I'm coaching outfielders in goal. I've got a little bit in there about shape, and at the B license level, working out shape and having your shape work and be match realistic is a big work on for our coaches. And of course that feeds into the goalkeepers coming into your session already seeing the pictures painted of team shape, which, you know, playing style, all that sort of stuff. So we are trying to work on it. I've got some touchy points and blah blah blah. Anyway, I do have a plan. Right. If I said in 5 minutes, which is 10:02, you have boots, water bottle, sunscreen, gone to the toilet, walking out the door. Yep. Young people just grabbing tactics board and balls, etc. sleeves. Okay, leaving in 5, thanks Steve.